The Key to It All with Keylan Moses.
This kid's incredible!
And I put that on my contract. No contest when I dress, full contact. Hey, I with my brothers, we in combat. And we want all the smoke, we want all of that. Hey,
What's going on, guys? It's your host, Keylan Moses, and today is the first episode of The Key to It All, where I have different athletes, top or rising, come to talk about their perspectives on the recruiting process itself, good or bad, and it's just a free space to talk about how you truly feel about any situation going on in the recruiting process and how it makes you feel in general. So today I have my older brother, Keylan Moses, and my younger brother, Emmanuel Moses, and today we're going to start off with some questions on who we are and, you know, how things have been through our process and his up-and-coming process as well. One of the main things we're going to be talking about today in this episode is we're going to talk about how we got into football as brothers and how it influenced us as a family, whether it was good or bad. So the first question for us today is for you, Dylan, is what motivated you to pursue a career in athletics, and what role did your family or community play in that decision?
What made me decide to, start doing athletics or just playing football in general was, our dad, he played football at Northwestern State University in Natchitoches. And also we have an uncle, Mari, he played football too. So, like, whenever he was playing in high school. And so I used to go to his practice, and whenever I was watching, I used to think, like, dang, man, this kind of looked fun or whatever. So I used to beg to always, play it, but, Dad was always like, nah, I'm not gonna let you play because I don't want you to get hurt or whatever. So later on, this is probably like in the summertime, maybe not probably the beginning of the summer. I think the Baton Rouge Eagles was practicing, and they were practicing right across the street from like where we were staying at the time. So I ended up walking over there with Mari, and next thing you know, I was like, man, we got to go back and ask, my parents, like, if I could play. So I ended up getting my first opportunity with them at that particular time, but that's really how it started out.
Yeah. So what about you?
Honestly, growing up, I just seen y'all two doing it, and then it looked fun, bro. So I want to be like them, so I want to play it too. But at first, when I went and asked Dad, he actually didn't want me to play. Because I remember it's like yesterday, like, you went downstairs, Keylan, and you came back up. You were like, man, Dad's going to let me play football. He's going to let me play football. And I'm like, what? I want to play too. So then I went downstairs and I asked him. And I was like, Dad, can I play football? And he first told me no, because I was always the smallest out the trio. So at the time, I was really small. He basically told me what he told you, Dylan. He was like, no, you small. I don't want you to get hurt. And third. And I told him, just give me a shot, give me a chance. I'm going to show you. I'm going to be good at it. And he did. The rest is history.
Yeah. Regarding me, kind of the same thing with you, man. Honestly, I don't think I ever told Dylan this, but one of my biggest inspirations in life was always him. So, looking up to him and his process, it always meant a lot to me. And he was a huge hero and a huge factor in my life. So looking at him and how far it's taken him and how fun it was watching him run over kids and just, score touchdowns and hit people pretty hard. I mean, it was just really fun. So one of my biggest inspirations was him, and that's really why I got into football. So that's really what it was. So as we all started to get older, we all shared some experiences with college coaches. So I want you first, Dylan, to share your experience with college coaches and recruiters during your recruiting process.
As far as the recruiting process for me, it started pretty early. What I had to deal with, I started getting recruited when I was in the 8th grade. So I got to see like a lot of different things, man, at a young age. And to me, college coaches, man, like, they're going to tell you whatever you want to hear to get you at their school. That's their job. And as far as myself, like, I'm sure other kids probably experience the same exact thing, but the recruiting process is stressful. you know, especially if you're highly recruited or you have a lot of attention on you. You have pressure to play a certain way and also have pressure to get your ranking higher if that's what your ultimate goal is.
Mm-hmm.
But because all of that plays hand in hand as far as like recruiting and being a highly rated player. But yeah, man, the coaches on a recruiting level, like I said, that's just more so. Like I said, they're gonna tell you what you want to hear on the college level.
Mm-hmm.
And you're gonna have to hit the ground running because some coaches like I didn't came across some really great coaches. I mean, obviously, I played at Bama, playing for Coach Saban, and I had a few different defensive coordinators while I was in college. So I would say the difference between all three of them, and even still, like some of them were my position coach. You have competition behind you on just like the college level, mainly because you have guys coming in that's probably better than you or on the same level as you. And so, like, for me, I always had to stay 10 toes down, like working hard, making sure I did what I was supposed to, making sure I don't know, like worked hard and just set myself apart to where I could like see the field early. And
yeah, basically like be the difference.
Yeah, like be the difference. And I don't know, it was tough for me in that sense because I always felt like I had to watch my back in a way, but I always knew nobody was gonna outwork me. But that's what motivated me the most. But the coaches on that level, man, they're gonna push you and they're gonna bring the best out of you too.
Yeah.
And sometimes, you know, as a player, like you're not going to be used to a certain style of coaching,
Mm-hmm.
and you just gonna have to take it. You know, so ultimately that's what's gonna make you better, and that's what's gonna help you grow as a person and a player.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's what I would say.
Yeah, that sounds good. So, with you, man, I know you getting into your recruiting process. You know, you got a little Texas A&M offer, Grambling offer, and more to come. So, based on how times have changed, I know Dylan being recruited back in 2016, 2015. I mean, times have changed now. So, what about you and your experiences with coaches and recruiters in general? How has that been in your recruiting process?
In my process, I was blessed enough to have y'all two ahead of me, so I could kind of just look at what y'all did and base that off of what I do. So like with you and Dylan, I just look at most like with you because me and you close to age.
Yeah.
So when I would go on like the recruiting trips with you, like when we would go to like Florida, Texas A&M, LSU, I would watch how you would talk to the coaches and what questions you would ask. And I kind of like just put
Picked
that in
up
my
on
book.
it. Yeah.
Just and with Dylan, I was kind of young, so I didn't really understand what you were doing or watching what you were doing. But as I got older, I understood, and I just took your work ethic from you because I would see how hard you would work. You go work out every day.
Mm-hmm.
You would stretch. You get up early morning routine. Like you would just 10 toes down. You was disciplined, and I took that from you. So, yeah, and the Moses name is real big. Like you say Moses anyway, I promise the majority of people gonna know who you're talking about.
Exactly.
So with that being said, like considering I have y'all two as my older brothers, coaches already know who I am.
Yeah.
And my recruiting process just picked up last year, but the coaches already know who I am because of y'all. Like you majority have been talking to them already, and they've known Dylan from past experiences, so they already know what I could produce, and they know what's in my bloodline.
So this ain't even a question, but that just kind of popped up in my head. Regarding that your last name is Moses, and you've had two superstars in front of you. How has that made you feel going through your recruiting process? Has that made you feel any type of way? Like, you felt like you had to, fill any big shoes? Like, how was the pressure of being a Moses, you'd say?
I wouldn't say I would have to fill big shoes, but it definitely is, like, hard being the younger brother of two superstars, like two highly recruited players because, it's a standard.
Yeah.
And not only coaches, but just, people as well and critics.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they expect you to pick up where they left off or just be as good or better than them. And then you also set goals for yourself.
Yeah.
So that'll kind of get, overwhelming in a sense because you don't want to let anyone down. It'll feel like you have a lot on your shoulders because,
exactly.
you in your own head.
Mhm.
And I feel like that's what goes on with a lot of people, like Jeremiah Smith's little brother, Travis Hunter's little brother. I feel like they're in the same position as me.
Exactly.
Because, like, I mean,
You know, you got the
everyone
number one.
wanted- yeah.
I mean, they was both the number one player in the nation,
Mhm.
and you know, you gotta. I mean, to be honest, that's some big shoes to fill. Kind of the same thing with me. You know, after dealing in his process, whether it was college or the NFL, I kind of felt like, well, dang, you know, he was the number one player in the nation. So now I gotta be like, oh, I gotta be on my stuff. I gotta overperform. I gotta do this. I gotta do that. And I learned real quick, like, I'll never be Dylan. Like, looking back at it, like if I had the chance to replay it back in my mind or back in general, like, and just pay attention, like Dylan, he a different breed. Like it's different seeing it firsthand. You know, when I tell you this guy was all about football, like he lived, dreamed. I mean, whether it was sleep, I mean, it was football, football, football. That was his whole life. And that man woke up, slept. I mean, dream. Like I said, it was literally football. Like he woke up and got straight to business. Like his whole life was strictly business. And you know, I never seen anybody more committed to the game than him. And I ain't gonna say I'm not committed to the game. It's just more of me like wanting to have fun and stuff outside of the game. But you know, his focus and everything was just different from anybody I've ever seen before. So
And
like, you know,
that's another thing that I took from both of y'all. You know, like y'all both give me keys on the recruiting process, and one thing that y'all both say is comparison is a thief of joy, and that's kind of what I live by. Like when I 8th grade year, I mean y'all know y'all 8th grade year, y'all popping on ESPN, Sports Center, all that, like all throughout the country. I'm thinking my 8th grade year, I want to be like them. I want what they had, and ultimately that's what kind of like brought me down mentally because I want to be like them, but I'm not there yet. I need to keep on working, keep on getting to like where I need to be before I can get any of that done.
exactly.
So like with that being said, like I kind of ultimately just stopped thinking about what y'all did or what people in my class are doing that's already ranked. I need to focus on what I need to do to get to the position that I want to be and get further than what y'all did. Because ultimately that's my goal. I want to be better than y'all. No shade, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah. So with that, I mean, speaking on each other's performances, how did your performance off the field or on the field, whether or not it was on or off the field, produce many different opportunities? Well, let me say this. How did your on-field performance produce many off-field opportunities? Like, what did you do on the field to bring?
Like throughout my entire career.
Yeah. Well, no, high school. Let's talk high school first.
When I was in high school,
Mind you, this is before NIL. Like Dylan, like that dude, like 20. He like 26 now. So like this is before NIL. So you know,
yeah.
what opportunities did it bring you?
When I was in high school, not even high school, really, it was 8th grade, man. I had got attention from a lot of people, like my videos, training videos, whether I was at LSU or whatever, or even just my highlights. You know, they would always be broadcasted on ESPN. Even when I got offered my first scholarships and stuff, you know, that was like broadcasted on ESPN all the time too, because it was unheard of a 8th grader getting offered a scholarship from like the top schools in the country at the time, with LSU being number one when they offered me, and backdooring and Bama being number one whenever they offered me. You know, it was like back-to-back occurrences, and then Texas and everybody else just, you know, flowed after that, and it was just crazy because I never expected it to blow up as much. I never expected myself to blow up as much as I did. I knew it was possible. I knew it was something that could happen. Probably like when I was a junior or a senior. But when things started occurring at such a young age for me, it was different. I ain't gonna lie. Like with my personality, I'm grateful I am the way I am, because if I wasn't quiet and reserved and all these different things, I feel like I don't think I would have handled it different, because our parents put parameters around me to where I didn't lose focus or didn't excel up to my potential or do what I was supposed to. So I was blessed for that. But had I been any different, I feel like the attention could have gotten to my head. But I'm just not the type of person that really cares for attention. But I will say, as far as like the opportunities that it granted for me, I got invited to the what's it called, the Under Armour All-American game when I was a freshman, and I got invited to the Army All-American game when I was a freshman, and that was I don't think that was ever done before. It might have been done by Sony Michelle for Army All-American game, but if it wasn't, then I probably was the first. But it's just like that's stuff that just doesn't occur. I got my number 1 ranking when I was a freshman. Was number 1 overall for 4 years straight. What else?
Long story short, you were just that dude.
Yeah,
that's just what it sounded like. I mean, you just did everything. I mean, that was practically unheard of. So basically, you just trying to say that you was just different.
I mean, you basically just started everything off.
Yeah, you basically started it all off.
It was a lot, man. Like even the IMG, like they wanted me to come when I was a freshman in high school, and mom and dad they wasn't going for that. Like I didn't go into IMG till I was a senior in high school. Yeah. And that was a blessing in itself too. But even now, like recruitment, even when it got that came down to recruiting, not only did my blessings help myself, it helped people that I knew as well. Like if I had friends that came with me on official visits or recruiting visits, those same friends would get scholarship offers just because the school wanted me to come there too. Like, I'm not going to do no name dropping or anything, but it's just the fact that I know, like, wow, that's how powerful I was at such a young age, and I didn't even understand what that power was. Yeah. Just from, like, all the hard work that I put in, and from y'all talking about what y'all was talking about before as far as, like, wanting to surpass me or wanting to be successful and all that. And it's like, it's easy to say that, man, but it's a lot of work that goes into it. And it's crazy because I was talking to one of my friends about it the other day. And to be successful, man, it hurts. It's painful. It's a lot of sacrifice. And it's like, you have to ask yourself those questions. Are you willing to sacrifice? Are you willing to endure the pain that goes into that? Are you willing to, like, sacrifice not going out on the weekends with your friends and, you know, like waking up at 6 a.m., 4 a.m., jogging around your neighborhood and doing your push-ups and sit-ups, buying into your workouts, things that's going to better you. Even running track, like I ran track from high school, but I also did it like off to the side, like a part of AAU and off with dad and other track coaches. Like I was always doing something. I was never just sitting at the house, you know, and when I think back on it, like, that's what made me the number 1 player in the country. That's what made me the number 1 player in the state. Like, even I left from Louisiana, went to Florida, and was number 1 in their state, too. like, bro, like, you don't just do that rolling out the bed and say I'm going to do it. Like, you can want that, but it's a difference between wanting it and going and do it, and then wanting it and then just, you know, sitting on the couch playing video games.
Given to you.
Yeah, it's not nothing
in life is ever going to be given to you. And
I'll say that. Like, a lot of people want to be number 1 in the country. A lot of people want to be highly recruited, but they don't want to do what come with that.
That's what I'm saying. Like, a lot of people have this misconception of that things are really given to you when it's not. I mean, one thing that really aggravated me, I'm kind of going to go off subject for a little bit, but one thing that really aggravated me when I was younger going through my process was that people really thought everything was given to me considering I was your brother.
Oh my God, bro.
No, like that,
God, bro.
I ain't gonna lie, that kind of really pissed me off in a way, because it's like, oh, you think my work or anything I did to get to where I was nothing? You think just because my last name was Moses, oh, these coaches just pulled an offer out of their drawers and like, oh, here you go, just because you a Moses, I know you gonna be good. Like
Keylan, like, you don't understand how many people, like, real life, like, either they don't say it to my face, like, they'll just, it'll get back to me, but they'll be like, both the offers I got right now came from you because of your last name.
That's what
like,
I'm
or well, our last name, but it came from you because you're good or you're a 4-star or you're whatever you are in the country. Like, bro, that's just not how that works,
it's
bro.
Not.
Like, come on, dog.
Y'all got to change y'all perspective because how y'all looking at it is completely wrong. Like, y'all getting what y'all getting, both of y'all, from literally the remnants of my blessings. Like, y'all got everything because of that, and it's just like, that's nothing to be ashamed of. That's nothing to be like, oh man, like, y'all don't think I'm talented. Like, nah, like, bruh, it's people in this world that have parents that are rich, and just because their parents rich, they're rich too, so they're benefiting off of their parents' blessings. Like, there's nothing to be ashamed of. And it's like, for somebody else to look at you and say, oh, this, that, and the third, like, they only got an offer because of this or because of that. So what? Like, I got an offer at the end of the day. Like, I'm going to school for free.
That's what I'm saying.
It's say, like, I wouldn't say I'm ashamed of it.
Yeah, me either.
But, like, I say this, both of y'all opened up the door for me. All I got to do is walk through it. But don't take away the fact of all the hard work I put in, like, all all the sleepless nights I went trying to figure out how I'm gonna get it. Like don't just throw that out the door because of my last
That's
name.
kind of the same thing for me. Like, don't disregard everything I done been through emotionally and physically just because my last name is Moses. Like, that's why it rubbed me the wrong way, because now it's like, oh, this is given to you, when it really wasn't. Like, I mean,
Nothing in this world.
yeah, nothing in this world is free. You always got to give something to get something. So that's really what it was. But one thing that I took from you was you said you're quiet and reserved. So I just want to know, like, how did you being the person you are influence, or really, how did it prepare you? Did you like have any way to prepare yourself for the recruitment process in any way, considering you are the way you are?
Yeah, I did have things that motivated me and developed my mindset just as far as like wanting to be successful, wanting to play football at the highest level. When I was in middle school, well, before I even get to that point, it was a point in time, man, where I used to be, I don't want to say lazy, but it's like when I would train growing up, Dad could tell you, like, he used to force me to get out of bed. I didn't want to get out of bed at 6 a.m. I didn't want to miss my Saturday and Sunday training. Like,
Yeah.
those are things that, with him forcing me to do that or waking up at a certain time, it developed discipline over time. And y'all ask me or talk about it all the time, just as far as like how is Dylan this, how is Dylan that, as far as like being punctual or being on time, or not on time, but just like waking up early and doing your workouts, being disciplined, all that. Like, that was developed over years and years of doing it. Like, I didn't just wake up wanting to do that. But also, I used to watch a lot of motivational videos after a while of training with Dad and stuff and going off with him. Like, at some point, he let go of the reins and just decided to let me do it on my own.
Mm-hmm.
So that's when I started being disciplined and waking up at 4 a.m., 5 a.m., making sure I get my push-ups in, stretches in, watching motivational videos. I would literally go on YouTube and research like motivational videos, and that would it would mold my mind into like having this gladiator mindset in a way.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, no matter how hard something is, you can always push through it. Like, pain is temporary. That's what I used to tell myself all the time. Pain is temporary. Pain is temporary. Like, no matter how hard it is, like, eventually it's gonna
Get better?
but
Yeah.
also you're going to burst through that ceiling. Like, the moment you stop at that ceiling is when you feel the most pain.
Mm-hmm.
But then when you surpass that and burst through that ceiling, that's when you realize, dang, I really did have more in the tank. Or, dang, that's when that second wind come through.
Yeah.
You're like, dang. So that's really how everything is in life, too. And so, like, throughout my process, that's what I did to, like, get myself mentally and physically ready, and that's how I was able to be consistent with it over time.
So let me ask you this: how did it affect you mentally going through all that, and preparing yourself for having this gladiator mindset?
It didn't affect me until it started getting. Well, I'm lying. It actually affected me the entire recruiting process, man. I had so much attention on me at a young age, from being on TV, having so many different people coming at you, being on the cover of ESPN magazine, and just having people on TV talking about you. Like, it's a lot of it's a lot. But like I said, I thank God that I was blessed, with our parents, to be able to keep my mind focused on the most important thing. And so that's what helped me the most, man. Mm-hmm. Like, if I didn't have that, if I was in a single parent household, or if I didn't have parents that actually cared, I would have been loose around Baton Rouge, doing whatever. Yeah. And getting into everything, and it's like that wouldn't have been good for my image, and that wouldn't have been good for my goals for myself later on in the future.
Yeah.
So,
well, let me ask you this: hearing what you're saying, I mean, I just want to ask you this: would you say you liked the spotlight in a way of being the number one player in the nation, or basically being the face of football back then?
I would say, I liked it. I liked the attention, but I also didn't like it. I like the satisfaction of knowing, okay, I worked this hard and I got this result out of it. Like, it was so much like gratification that came from that. And even though I didn't like the attention, I kind of did, because it was like it was low-key intoxicating at sometimes.
Yeah.
But I never got to a point where it was bad for me, because I knew what was important at the end of the day. As long as you know what's important to you and what's the main goal, like it'll never having attention will never surpass the main goal. So that's how I was able to continue with being focused, continue with being consistent, continue with my training. What Coach Saban be saying, like, don't listen to the rat poison. Like before I even met him, that was something that I had a part of me. So
yeah, because I mean, it seems like with you being the number one player in the nation, the light is always on you, and considering the light's on you, that gives you an even bigger opportunity to mess up. So like as a 14, 15, 16, 17-year-old, how would you say you managed that of being, responsible and, having to basically put on a mask every day to make sure you're not, doing the wrong thing each and every day, because once again, you're the number one player in the nation. So like you don't want to get caught up doing the wrong thing or being at the wrong place at the wrong time. So like, how did you manage that?
Well, that just went back to the parameters that I said our parents set upon me. Just like I wasn't allowed to do certain things. I wasn't allowed to go certain places, even though I wasn't probably going to go anyways. Because like I said, I just wanted to be at the house and just chill. But those were things that, kept me focused. But also, like I said, man, what I did was I just kept the main thing the main thing. And it didn't help that, well, it did help that I was like, ever since I was playing Little League football, I was always like the best on my team in some way or fashion. And so it was just like when you at that young of age and then you go through high school, middle school, high school, and then college, it was kind of the same thing. Like I never really felt pressure because it was playing football for me felt natural. Like it was almost like I had fun doing it. I didn't think about, I got to go out here and play the best because I'm the best player in the country. Like, nah, I just went out there and had fun. Yeah. And I wouldn't say I wouldn't say it got tough for me until I got to college. Like, and I would say that because when you get to college, you're not just going out there playing just to play. Like you have to run certain plays. And when you have to learn the whole entire playbook, man, especially at Bama at the time, it was very stressful. And I used to cry myself to sleep because of it. Yeah. But when I finally got that playbook down pat, I was back to just playing and having fun.
Yeah. So yeah, only reason I asked you that is for everybody to see the difference between us as a trio. Dylan is more reserved in a way, quiet. Me, me. I like the spotlight. I love the cameras. I love the light. I shine best when the light on me. So that's just me. And man, he just,
I ain't gonna lie. I'm a mixture of both sometimes, right? It really depends on my mood. I ain't gonna feel it.
Yeah, but actually going back to what you were saying earlier, my question for you is, how did you manage the huge burdens or expectations placed on you by others, such as like the outsiders and the people maybe inside of your circle? Let's say, how did that make you feel as a young man to know like people are looking up to you being like us or me and Dylan? My thing is, was pressure even a factor for you?
Wasn't. Wasn't, bro. I mean, it still is, bro. Like, I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, I mean, you still going. I mean, I'm a senior, so like, you still got some time to go. So like, how does it make you feel with that?
I mean, like I said, I try not to think about it a lot, cause like I said, comparison is a thief of joy, and I try not to compare myself to not only y'all but like other athletes as well, because I'm not y'all, I'm myself. You know what I'm saying? Like, and honestly, I kind of try not to listen to it. I kind of just try and go and do my own thing in a way, and just like I know what I'm capable of. I know what I could do. So, I mean, all I gotta do is go out there and prove it. Like if I think about it, then it's
I already know. Yeah, I ain't gonna lie. I already know how you feel with that, cause I ain't gonna lie. I struggle with that really, really, really bad. Like my sophomore year, I took the fun out of the game, and I was thinking more about my future, and wanting to be like Dylan, wanting to be the number one linebacker in the nation, number one player in the state, being a 5-star. I took all the outside factors and I put it all in my head, and now it's like, oh, I'm thinking so much that it's like I'm missing out on plays, and I'm missing out on, really just the fun factor of the game itself. I forgot the true meaning of why I really started playing the game itself. And it was hard. It was real hard. There was plenty of times I was crying in my room because I didn't do what I needed to do. And I look up on Twitter or Instagram, this dude got 15, maybe 20 tackles a game, and he on, OT7, overtime. And I'm like, dang, man, like, what do I have to do to get everybody else's attention? Like, what do I have to do to surpass this person or do this or do that, or at least get a chance to touch what Dylan had? Like, man, it's just hard living. For the longest, I just felt like I lived behind Dylan's shadow. Like, that's one thing that I struggled with for the longest. And honestly, with some other things being a factor, I felt like I didn't have anybody to talk to really talk about my struggles mentally as a student athlete. And that's something that really plays a huge part in the not even recruiting process, but football as well. This game is more mental than anything, and people forget to, put that into others' minds, like, whether or not, like, at DB. I mean, like, you got to have one thing. What's one thing they tell you at DB? Have a short what?
Huh?
Oh, my God.
Say that one more time.
Have a short what as a DB? Mindset.
Mm-hmm.
Or what? Memory?
Yeah, short-term memory loss. Like, something like that. As a DB, you can't linger on the bad plays. Like, you have to just forget about it. And that's something, like, I feel for y'all, man. That's why when everybody say, "Oh, DB is the hardest position to play," oh yeah, it is. It really is.
It's gonna be many of the days that you're gonna get cooked.
That's what I'm saying.
You're gonna be chopped, but like,
and you can't even react about it. You got to just sit there and be like, "Oh man."
I'm not gonna lie, bro. Like, you're literally playing backwards. Like, you don't know what's about to happen. You're backpedaling. You're like, and they running directly at you. They trying to fake it. Like, it's definitely hard. Yeah. So that's really one thing I struggle with. So I feel you on that. The mental part of it, feeling like you had to live up to these certain standards. If I had to give any advice to maybe you or anybody else, I'd say don't forget the real reason why you play. It's to really truly have fun. That's what I would say, because, like, going back on what you said, like, with the other people on overtime, and, like, you wanted to get to that. And then I'll even go back further, like, at the beginning of the interview when I told y'all, like, I mean, y'all was popping in 8th grade and stuff. Mm-hmm. In every single class that there's always been that one guy that just popped up out of nowhere that no one knew about. He just came along and just was topping the country. Yeah. I'm going to be that guy. Yeah. Because at the end of the day, I didn't start off as 6'3", 200, 220. Yeah, you was a midget. Big. Yeah, bro, like, I was small, bro. So, I mean, like, people going to look over me because I'm short or I'm small or I'm not, you know what I'm saying? I'm not what y'all were. Yeah. But as time go on, I'm going to get to that and get better. So, I mean, they can keep on looking over me as much as they want to. But when the time come, I'm going to come out the shadows and take what's mine. Yeah. And that's the way I feel about it. And I think that helped me mentally and spiritually. Yeah, and I was going to say, for the both of y'all, like, I hear what y'all saying. And, like, I'll never understand where y'all come from, like, having someone that's older than y'all that's done what you're trying to do. But, just like word of advice from me, like someone who's been there and done the things y'all trying to do, in order to be successful or to have lasting success, you can't worry about what anybody else is saying about you or how much attention you're getting, or and letting that take away from your play on the field. Because at the end of the day, I didn't get what I got by worrying about what he say or she say or what 247 is saying or Rivals or ESPN, whoever. I wasn't doing that for their attention or for their validation. Like, it was days, man, I was literally in the field by myself in the hot sun, no shade at all, and it's just me, God, and Dad. Literally, but me and God, for real, though, we was locked in. It's been times where I literally had, you don't understand, like, running 4 miles in the heat of the day as a warm-up, and then you get to your actual workout. You're gonna need God to get you through that workout. Yeah, real talk. So like, bro, like, it's been many a days like that where I come in from the house and first thing I do is lay out on the floor because it's summertime, it's hot outside. Like, you come in, it's cool. Yeah, it's you know how that Louisiana is, boy. Like, I come down, first thing I do is lay down on the floor. Like, that's how you know, like, you put in work. But I had multiple days like that, man. And yeah. I wasn't worried about what the kid down the street was doing or what my neighbor across was saying about me or what somebody online was saying about me. I was more worried about me, and that's what got me to the point where I was able to excel the way I did. And now see, like, me doing my part was good enough for God to, bless me in the ways that he was meant to bless me because of my work ethic and stuff. And that's one thing I'll tell both of y'all is, like,
y'all should focus y'all lenses on you and you only when it comes to your career. Like, don't worry about what a reporter is saying. Don't worry about what a coach is saying. Like, do what is best for you and focus on you and control what you can control.
Yeah.
And I promise you, everything that you want, it's gonna come to you. One thing that always used to tell me, like, you work hard, you can have whatever you want, literally. And I can tell you that is a fact.
Yeah.
Like, if you work hard, you can have whatever you want and more. Because it's some things in my life, bro, I did not know I was even capable of having or even capable of even achieving. You know, it just came to me. But it came to me because I put in the work. I was focused on me. And it wasn't like I was just going to camps and they just gave me a number because they gave it to me. Like, you can pull up the highlights. Like, bro, like, I'm showing this stuff on the field. Like, this dude is, you look on the field, he going at a completely different pace than everybody else. And that's something else that always would tell me, like, growing up, like, when you training or when you working, when you on the field, you want to look like you a sophomore in college and these guys still a senior in high school. Like, that's how the difference should look. And that's if you look at my film, that's exactly how it looked, bro. Like, I'm moving.
You ain't lying, because, boy.
Yeah, bro.
Hey, go ahead and look at one of his videos on YouTube. I mean, man, he just obviously bigger than everybody, but he moving at a 2 steps ahead than anybody. And it looked like from linebacker, you already knew what the play was before it actually got to play. So
and that also just come from watching film too. But
Yeah.
point of me saying all that, man, is that you have to put the time in. Like, you can't say it. And it's not just y'all. I'm talking about, like, everybody, like anybody that's an athlete. If you want to truly be successful, you gotta stop all the talking and actually do it.
Yeah.
Like, me personally, I'm the type of person, if I tell myself I'm gonna do something, I try my best to make sure I get it done. Because if you can't tell the truth to yourself, like, you can't tell the truth to nobody else. Like, how you gonna lie to yourself, bro? Like, how you gonna be like, all right, I'm gonna wake up at 6 a.m. and I'm gonna do this workout. Then when 6 a.m. come, you don't even do it. You know, it's
still
all
in
about,
bed.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, it costs to be successful, and it's like, what are you willing to pay at the end of the day?
Yeah. I ain't gonna lie. One thing that really got me through the process on this specifically was the mindset of that if you worrying about the next man, like, let's say you get done doing this or having a game or playing a game or working out, if you still sitting up worrying about the next man, then you ain't doing enough. Because if you did enough, you would be too tired to be worried about the next man. So, one question I have for you, another question I have for you is, what did you do strategically to maintain your consistency and focus during such a time? Whether it was, were you blowing up or just, like you said, in the field by yourself with God and my dad?
Like I said in the beginning of the interview, man, that wasn't something I just woke up one day and decided to do. Like, that was something I conditioned myself to do. I didn't condition nothing. Like, like what I just told you, being forced to be out in the field in the heat of the day, like, you really think I wanted to be like that, do that over the summer when I could have just been hanging out with my friends or, like, I don't know, laying in bed playing video games. Like, I didn't have that option. Like, he forced me to come outside to come do that. And it's like, he did it so much to the point where when he realized it was time, I got to a point where I started doing it on my own. And even to this day, with me not playing football no more, I still do the exact same things I was doing as a child. Yeah. Like, waking up. Like, I was thinking about this on the way to work the other day, and I'm just like, man, like, it feels abnormal to not work out. Like, it feels like that's something that's just a part of me. It's something like to take care of myself. Like, I've been doing it my whole life. It would feel like not me to do it, to not do it, I mean. And so, as far as y'all, man, like, I just think y'all have to pretty much condition your minds in order to get to that point of consistency, because it's hard at first. But then once you get to a point where it's like, okay, it's second nature, like, listening to yourself is second nature. Like, okay, all right, I got to work out Monday through Friday. On the weekends, I'm going to take off. I'm going to do this for like 2 months straight. I'm going to do such and such. Like, if you could tell yourself these things and actually follow through with it, it's going to give yourself so much more confidence to take those next steps in those whatever decisions you want to make. Yeah. When in regards to yourself and being successful.
Yeah, because once you condition your mind to do it, then your body, I mean, it just follows right behind, So I definitely get what you're saying on that. Yeah. But what about? Well, I kind of feel like, honestly, it's really the same for me and man. I feel like I can speak for both of us when I say, honestly, one way I stayed consistent was, giving my life to God. Getting up, waking up every day. One thing I always start off with is I pray. I pray and I give the glory all to him because I wouldn't be where I'm at right now without him. So one thing I stay consistent with is praying and, reading my word because, whether you believe in him or not, he's done many things to change my life and I'm going to do whatever I can to spread his word and just him in general. So would you say that's something that helped you?
Yeah, I agree with that. And also, what I think about is when I'm working out, right, I'll be dog tired, bro. I don't want to do it no more. But what makes me, keep on going is think about that one kid. There's always going to be one kid. He could be overseas right now, California, Texas, New York, brain fart. New York, California, anywhere. Yeah. But I'm going to meet him one of these days. And just for me slacking off this one workout, he not. So when I see him, he going to be better than me. So if I'll say that's what pushes me in a sense because I know if I'm not doing it, someone else is. If that makes sense.
No, I get where you're coming from. I heard that all growing up. That was something that was told to me in the middle of my workouts all the time. Be like, we not training for the kids locally, or even the kids in different states. We in the surrounding states. We training for the guy that's that you don't see, the ones that you don't know about. So when the time comes when you actually do run up on him, you'll be ready. Mm-hmm. And like I said, getting to college and being at people don't understand how talented Bama really was, man. Just all the guys that I was surrounded with, having that told to me at such a young age, as far as training for the guys you don't see. I got to see those guys, man, and it's just it's crazy because I was ready. It was what I was told at the time, the work that I was putting in, it was when I got to that point where I had to look those guys in the face, it was toe to toe, shoot, it wasn't what, I
ain't gonna lie. Mm-hmm. I feel y'all on that because one thing I took from this process is that no matter where you at, somebody's gonna look at you like you just different, and there's always gonna be that one guy that's trying to take your cheese, no matter who it is. Anybody trying to come up off you in your name. So whether or not you have to protect yourself, but that's one thing, you have to protect yourself. But not only that, you got to make sure, like you said, you ready for that. Mm-hmm. So, that's one thing I live by is that there's always going to be that one dude that's looking to make a name off you. Are you going to let that happen? Or, what are you going to do to make sure nobody take what's yours?
I'm saying, bro. At these camps, bro, they'll be like, oh, your last name Moses? Oh, yeah, I got something.
I swear. No.
Bro, it be like that, bro.
I was at Houston. I was at Houston for this Under Armour camp, and I was just walking, and I think there was this dude from New Orleans. He was like, oh, you that Moses boy, huh? And every time somebody say that, I already know their intentions. I'm like, I almost told him no. That's really what it was. I almost told him no, because, man, what you finna do with that? I don't never, telling nobody who I am or where I'm at, because like I said, no matter where you are, somebody's looking to come up off you and make see you as an opportunity, no matter what it is, whether it's on the field or off the field. So you have to protect yourself, or you not only that, but keep your head on the swivel and make sure you ready, whether it's mentally or physically. Mm-hmm. So that's one thing I took from that, because somebody always looking to take your cheese. I swear.
What y'all talking about? I used to love that though. Go to camps and stuff, and they'd be like, "Are you that Moses kid? Are you Dylan Moses? Whatever." Mind you, at the time and during the camps, I wasn't training at linebacker. I was training at running back. Mm-hmm. So I knew at the end of the day nobody was gonna cover me because nobody was no linebacker out there was fast as me. Yeah. So I'm about big as them, if not bigger. There was no way they was gonna.
I don't think y'all get how big Dylan was. Didn't they have this what's the word for it? This rumor saying this dude was so big that it had a rumor that he was on steroids at 8th grade. I remember that,
bro. Dude walking around lean, bro. Yeah. I'm talking about no body fat, bro.
No, I don't know what he was doing. Well, I know exactly what he was doing. I just wasn't really paying attention. But when I tell you, he right about that. Ain't nobody was big enough or fast. Like, dude was literally Hercules running around. So, like, I wouldn't want to guard that either. To be honest.
Dylan was that. Bro. I
ain't even go front. That boy.
It's crazy. Like, dudes would, like, literally be rushing. Like, when they saw me about to run up and, like, take my rep, man, it was dudes, like, fighting over the rep.
I ain't gonna lie. There was plenty of running backs that did that with me back in the Under Armour camp. I'm like, well, dang, they trying to mess over me, boy. I swear. Like I said, anybody trying to there's always going to be that one person trying to mess over you in any way. So you got to make sure you ready. And to make sure you ready, you got to stay consistent.
Oh, yeah. But
not only that, consistency, you got to be mentally consistent as well. So let me ask you, what was there anybody in your process you could talk to about your emotions? Because whether or not, I mean, the game is physical. Obviously, your physique was physically ready. But you, at a young age, who could you talk to, or was there anybody you could talk to about your emotions, and how did that affect you as a young man mentally, if there wasn't anybody?
I started talking to a therapist when I was a sophomore in college. Mm-hmm. But I would say that was something that helped me, like, mold my mind and how I thought about certain things. I'm very grateful to have, like, had that therapist too, because at the same time, like, I was lost as a 20-year-old kid. You know, I didn't know how to navigate through my emotions. I didn't know how to handle certain things, and it's just like having that. I would say, like, a spiritual awakening. I guess at the time, like, it was something that helped me navigate through life better, and it made me, like, closer with God too, in a sense, because I always had a close relationship with God, but not, like, at that point in my life too, because I had so much going on. But yeah, man, like, having a therapist, for me, it helped me and molded me into the man I am today, and even my relationship with God. But that's what I would say. Like, I don't know if you guys are or still are, you know, speaking to a therapist, but if that's something that that you're interested in, I truly believe that's something that you should do, just because it does help you. It just helps you, like, manage your emotions and get through certain problems, things you just can't control. Mm-hmm. Even with football too, like, you know, definitely will keep you in a grounded state of mind. Yeah,
I ain't gonna lie. Going through my process mentally, I was everywhere because as an 8th grader, getting all the attention, you know, getting my first LSU offer as an 8th grader, it was hard. I mean, it was just kind of wild because, honestly, one thing I never seen myself being basically a superstar, or being someone can look up to. And honestly, it was just kind of crazy looking at it, because it's like, dang, I'm really this kid's hero. But one thing I struggle with, well, we gonna get real personal, but I was actually diagnosed with anxiety, depression my sophomore year of high school. And once again, I don't think people really understand, like, this game is more mental than anything, and you really need to, you know, understand yourself, whether it's emotionally or physically, but more emotionally than anything, because I mean, you just really need to get everything out, you know, have somebody you could talk to, whether it's a therapist or, you know, a close friend, girlfriend, mom, dad. You just really need to have somebody there to understand you, because I mean, obviously this game is for you to have fun, but many people use it to, you know, let all their anger out, you know, take it out on others. And I mean, obviously, I ain't gonna lie, I do that too. But, you know, sometimes it just doesn't fulfill all the needs I need. Let's say, I mean, I'll be in a game and, you know, I'll crush this dude. Like, when I tell you, I wasn't gonna say nothing, bro. I'm telling you, I do him the worst way. And I mean, after the game, I'm still feeling, you know, not pleased in a way. I mean, I would just want more and more. And I mean, at the end of the day, I felt like there was still something I needed to, you know, let it all out, whether I needed to cry or whether I needed to just punch a bag or a wall or something. Like, I just needed to run through something, whether it was somebody or, you know, a wall. I mean, like I said, this game is more mental than anything. And one thing I struggled with was, you know, opening my mouth and, you know, really just talking in general, because I kind of felt like nobody really looked at me as a normal person. Everybody, that's one thing I don't get as well. A lot of people really look at me as like a celebrity or anything, but personally, I don't really like being looked at like that. I feel like I'm a normal person. Everybody's taking pictures and treating me differently than anybody else or the next man when I'm just a normal 17-year-old kid. And that's something that kind of overwhelmed me in a way, because I don't like, I like the spotlight, but it gets to a point. I don't want to boast or feel like I'm better than the next man unless I'm on the field. But off the field, I don't want to feel like I'm better than anybody. I just want to be treated regularly. And one thing I struggled with once again was opening my mouth and really just talking about how I feel about the game, and just the overwhelming process of, thinking about whether or not I'm doing the best I can or doing what I need to do to get to where I need to be, or whether or not I'm living up to what these critics are saying. What really messed me up my sophomore year is that I was so caught up in the factors of the rankings and the stars and the offers. Like, I lost the true meaning of why I really started playing the game, and I started to really get more physical than anything. I started really like going crazy on the field. Like, you could see in the games, like my sophomore year, like the celebration I be doing, that ain't no celebration. That's really truly how I feel. I'm sitting there screaming, yelling, beating my shit. Like, that's truly how I feel. Mm-hmm. And honestly, that's just really what I struggled with, was my emotions, and people overlook that because they genuinely think you're just an athlete sometimes, and honestly, they forget you're human. That's one thing that plays a huge part in this world as well. I mean, as athletes, as in general, they look at us as just athletes. Like, they'll just say, "Oh, go pick up a ball and run and score and this and that," but they never truly ask how you're feeling, or what you're doing mentally, emotionally, to make sure you're doing right on the field. Because at the end of the day, you can't do what you need to do on the field without your mind. That's what people forget. You can't do what you need to do or work the way you work without, your mindset or your mind in general. So,
yeah, I was gonna say the issues that you having with yourself. I don't know if you're still having them, or that was something that was in the past.
Yeah.
But I was gonna say, like, I kind of dealt with the same thing. I wasn't always expressive. I was always like real quiet, held everything in. I wouldn't say I was like angry all the time, but it was just like when you hold certain stuff in, it's like it's gonna build up. So football for me was an outlet, but it wasn't like off the field I was just going crazy on everybody, or like, I don't know, I was just a maniac or whatever. But I did play with passion because of it, and that's why I would say, like, for you, you would probably do better like having controlled aggression. Controlled aggression is just being able to regulate your emotions, but letting it out in a time where it's feasible to let it out. Like, when you saw me beating my chest, when you saw me jumping up after a play, like, that was me. Like, that was therapy for me, like, because I held it in so much. Even in practice, like, I loved practice because that was therapy for me. Like, hitting somebody, like, I don't want to sound crazy, but it was just like, I don't know. I was just always like very aggressive in a sense. Mm-hmm. And
I mean, I get you. I was fueled by, really hitting somebody and like not purposely hurting them, but making them feel how I felt and the passion I brought to the game. One thing I really didn't like sometimes was, playing the game and, others surrounding me not having the same passion as me or compassion for the game as me. And that's what kind of really aggravated me my sophomore year and allowed me to lash out on others, because I'm sitting here like, why don't y'all care like I care? Or why don't y'all have passion like I have passion? So that's a real reason why, I dealt with what I dealt with, because, I felt like the surrounding factors around me didn't have what I have. And I don't know, I was going through a lot my sophomore year. I ain't gonna lie. But, times have changed and I'm better now. I've got God, and, I don't see my therapist anymore, but, shout out to her. But, it was real hard. Like I said, this game is more mental than anything. But one thing I'll ask you, my man, was because I know this is something that you're still going through, possibly. But what was it? How did the pressure to perform as you got older, playing or whatever, affect your enjoyment of the game in general?
Sit up for this.
Go ahead.
I mean, like I said earlier, a lot of people, they look at y'all and they look at me and expect me to pick up where y'all left off in a sense.
Mm-hmm.
So usually I have a lot of goals set for myself and I'm really hard on myself because that's the things that I want to do. I want to be better than y'all, and not only y'all, but I want to be the best in the country at my position. I want to be number one overall in my class. So, like, if I'm during a game, I think about it a lot. I think about the stuff that I want to do, and that causes me to mess up. Like, the more you think about it, the more you mess up. So instead of me having fun, I'm sitting here messing up, stressing, putting down on myself because I'm trying to please everyone else. So I'm trying to put my name out there in a sense, like, if that makes sense.
No, yeah, I get you. I mean, like I said, that's something I struggle with. And honestly, it did affect my enjoyment of the game. It made the game not fun anymore. And as I got a little bit older and a little bit more knowledgeable of, my feelings, I truly got back the enjoyment of the game. And one thing that I really struggled with was, like you said, trying to live up to the hype of being in the just like Dylan or even better than him. But, pleasing these critics or these sports writers to, be good enough to be the number one linebacker in the nation or the number one player in the state. Like, I did so much to be able, or tried to do so much to be able to please these guys, to not only be like, number 3 in the state, but at one point I say I was the number one linebacker in the nation, but, I ended up getting hurt or whatever. But that's besides the point. But, at the end of the day, I did so much to please other people. And that's something with me. I don't know why I am the way I am, but I always find a way to try and please somebody else. I always put others before myself. And that's something you have to reiterate with yourself in general. Like, you have to sometimes be selfish, think about yourself. I mean, I know the game is a team sport, but you have to put your mindset first and understand yourself first before you go out here and play a team sport. You get what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So you got to make sure, because at the end of the day, you thinking about, I got to do this to do that to make sure I'm number one player in the state or the number one cornerback in the state. At the end of the day, that's selfish. I mean, you came out here to play ball, help your team win the game. That's something that shouldn't be on your mind. At the end of the day, you should be having fun winning instead of thinking about, yourself and your own personal achievements. That's one thing about me. Like, whenever reporters came to ask me about, where I was committing to or what I'd need to do to break the tackle record or this and that, like, I never really focused on, my personal achievements. I always wanted to be there for my brothers and, help lead the team to a win. And that's something I always told them. I don't know, because I'm not focused on my personal achievements. I just want to win. I mean, that's one thing about me, man. I hate losing. Like, I hate losing more than I love winning. So I'll do anything to win. So that's one thing with me.
Yeah, I was going to say, with both of y'all, I know you just got done saying it, but as far as, like, man, with the game and stuff and worrying about how you play, like what Keylan told me earlier about how when I played, it seemed like I already knew the play before it was going to happen. That was due to me watching film. That wasn't necessarily because of my athletic ability. I mean, yeah, it would play a part, but it wasn't 100% like everything that like made that possible. Like when I would watch film 4 days throughout the week. On Friday, we playing. I already know what their scheme is. Mm-hmm. When I see a guard pull, all right, I know they about to run the ball right there. Or I don't know, the tight end block a certain way. All right, I know they about to come and run the ball to the strong side. Like, it's like when they did certain things, I knew it was coming before they even snapped the ball. Yeah. So like, it allowed me to play more comfortable. It allowed me to have fun. Like, I didn't have to worry about this reporter or the advocate saying something about me in the newspaper, or I don't know, like a sports writer saying something about me, or Dylan didn't play up to his potential. Like, I wasn't worried about none of that. Like, bro, I was literally going out there having fun, knowing that I prepared the right way. It's a whole different level of comfort when you know you've prepared for something. Yeah. Like, when
You ain't lying.
That's what I'm saying.
Because when you see it coming and you know it's coming, it's like, dang, they actually really did it.
That's what I'm saying.
So you got to trust yourself and, like you said, have fun. I mean, it's really fun when you literally living in their backfield because you know their plays. Like, it's different when you just having fun and just taking control of the game. And that's when I truly started to feel like pressure wasn't even a factor. Like, my freshman year, pressure was never a factor for me. I loved performing under pressure because, like, the pressure of being the best on the field, like, I wasn't even worried about that because I knew in my mind I was the best on the field. This slow offensive tackle not finna block me. My freshman year, I was playing DN, and I was one of the fastest on the field. And you put one of the fastest on the field against one of the slowest on the field, who gonna win?
Yeah.
So that's one thing that really helped me was, the mindset I had, just knowing who I am as a person and really just genuinely going out there to just have fun. I mean,
100%.
That's really what it was.
It'll be like during. You can see it. There's definitely flashes of it. Like during a game, I'll be overthinking it, and I'll lose trust in myself, and then ultimately end up messing up the play.
Yeah.
And then the other
or
time,
missing out on a tackle,
or and then like another time, I'll be having fun and gonna make like a big play or a big hit, like against St. Charles Catholic when I made that hit, bro. Like I was having fun. Like that just came to me. Like I seen him, I wanted to go get him.
I'm telling you, it's fun running through somebody's face. Like it's
real
fun knowing you like literally living in their backfield and running through somebody's face. Like that's the most fun I've ever had, and that's why I love the game. I mean, just doing what I do.
Yeah. And one more thing I just wanted to say before you switch to the next topic is when it comes to success, man, you don't go looking for it. Like success will find you when you're doing all the right things.
Yeah.
Like you're taking care of your body, you working out, you training, you putting in the hours, the time to develop yourself, your mind. Like
and that's where patience come from.
It's literally, I promise you, bro, like that, it will literally come to you. Like how everything came. It was like I had a silver platter out and just all the food just dropped on it. Like I didn't even have to go and do nothing. Like somebody just dropped a platter of food on my lap. And it's all because I did the work, and I didn't go looking for it. When I broke the U-High's tackle record at the time when I was a freshman, I wasn't thinking about breaking no tackle record. I was just playing my best every single game, and that's what happened after doing my best. Yeah. And everything that occurred after, like all the success I ever had, that just came from the fruits of my labor. So that's one thing that I want y'all to like instill in y'all own minds when it comes to like y'all success. Like it doesn't come from somebody else placing a label on you, telling you how good you are. That's gonna happen when you do the work. That's gonna happen when you putting in time and effort into like, I don't know, just your craft and being the best version of you. Like you can't say that you want to do that, but you're not living like that. Living like that, you actually taking the steps and putting yourself in a position to be able to be successful. And being successful ain't all about the glitter and glory that you see like on the hours or what people telling you. It's really what's in here, like what's in your soul, what's in your heart, like what you feel on the inside. Like, dang, I was about to quote this one thing, but it can't come to me right now. I'll tell you later. But real like richness comes from like within. Being rich or abundant comes from within first. It starts in the spirit, then it comes out in reality. Yeah. Like that's what when you working hard and working on yourself, both of y'all. And then next thing you know, you putting in the work spiritually and physically to get to where you're gonna be. I promise you, like when the opportunity presents itself, that's when you're going to overcome that hurdle or overcome those things that you're looking forward to doing in your life. Like I said, man, it's time, man. It take a lot of time to do all what you're trying to do.
Yeah. So these were one of the last things I'm gonna say, but ultimately, I mean, everybody knows your story or knows of your story. But we just want to hear from you firsthand, and then we're going to share our perspectives on whether what we've been through and stuff like that. But, obviously you've been through more than what we've been through. So after all the trials and tribulations of what you've been through, what kept you motivated? What kept you going? And how did it mentally prepare you to where you wanted to be?
For me, like, one thing I always keep in my mind or in the back of my mind, I don't care how hard life get. I don't care how many times you get rejected, how many times you fall. Like, don't you ever give up on yourself. Like, you be the last person to give up on yourself. At least you're going to always be there for you because people going to walk away from you. Like, that's just how life is. Life isn't meant for people to consistently stay. People come and then they go. You know, so as long as you there for yourself, you're going to always be able to bounce back from anything. And for me in my life, like, I was talking to one of my friends about this the other day. Like, it was a point in my life where I used to know, or I felt like I knew what was coming before it came because of how hard I worked or how much success I was having at the time. Until I wasn't, until it wasn't like that, you know. And when I first hurt myself in college, like, that was one of the most devastating things for me because I never had like something, I don't know, life changing like that happen like ever. So it changed my world in a sense, and I knew I could come back from it. So after a while, I wasn't even tripping. But what really hurt me was being at Bama and, you know, playing hurt the entire time and having not recruiters, sports writers, you know, saying things about me that wasn't even true, or even just having NFL scouts like making up their own assumptions about me that wasn't even true. Even though I understand that like what you put on film is your resume, like you also don't know what's going on inside that building. You also don't know what's going on with somebody's body. Like, I always played my best when I was healthy. I always played my best when, I don't know, my when everything was together with myself. Like, I would never, if I was healthy, I would never like piss away my opportunities. I would never just let that go and, I don't know, just do stuff that I wasn't supposed to do. So to go through that, man, it felt like my hands was tied. Like, I don't know, it almost felt like it was something that was ordained to happen. Like like regardless of what path I chose, that was something I was gonna have to go through.
Yeah.
And it was hard, man. Like the first year in 2021 and not playing in the league and being hurt the entire time, seeing people basically live my dreams, like things that I knew I deserved and stuff. You know, it was hard. And I question God. Like, I tell people all the time, like, I cursed God. Like, I was so angry with him, man. Like, because it was like, how could you do this to me? Like, what did I do? Like, I've done everything you wanted me to do. I worked hard. I did such and such. And this is what I get. Like, but it just made me realize, you know, no, that's just how life is. No matter how you can work and put as much effort into getting something in your life and still not end up with it. Like, that's just how life is. And it's what really matters is what you do after the fact. And I don't know, man, it was real tough, man. Like, going, because I never craved attention, but you get used to it after a while throughout your life if that's all you ever experience. And so for me, like, going through a change, and even though I'm not even the type of person to like attention, like, you notice the change. And it's like, dang, man, like, I don't think I didn't think I would ever feel like this at this point in my life. And I kind of had to resort back to my I don't know, just like my ground zero, like how everything was before it even happened, like before I got the attention, before my life changed. Like, I had to go back into that mindset, and I had to check my ego. I had to check who I am as a person, like, because your ego could definitely get in front of your like personality, make you feel like you deserve this, or make you feel like you deserve that. Like, regardless of the fact, like, I mean, we serve God, and we're living this life for Him. Like, it's all of this is for His purpose, not ours. Even if you pray for something, man, like, He gonna give it to you, but it's gonna happen in His way, not yours.
Yeah.
So it's like, that's something that throughout this time period, it helped me mold my faith and helped me become a better man. But yeah, man, like, one thing I'll tell y'all is, like I said, life will throw curveballs at y'all, things that you just won't even expect.
Yeah.
And you have to be ready for that, you know. Even with football too, like, football prepares you for that. But when it comes to life, like, I'm in a better place at this point in my life. I'm at peace. I'm happy. But that all took time, you know. So that's all I want to leave you guys with is, like, man, just control what you can control. Don't worry about outsiders, people that can't even contribute to your life or anything. They just talking, critics pretty much. And put in the work. You put in the work, like I said, everything y'all asking about or wanting or desire, I promise it's just gonna come to you.
Yeah. I ain't gonna lie, that book got me ready to play.
Mm.
But obviously I haven't been through anything or been in Dylan's shoes or been through anything the caliber he's been through. But one thing that really stuck with me in my whole life so far was losing my grandmother that was something real big for me. And one of the last things she said to me was, "You'll always be my sweet baby," and she wants me to stay golden. So honestly, with that, she wants me to stay true to who I am. And honestly, through this process, I've lost myself mentally. Like, I lost myself trying to figure out who I am. And as I got older, I started to realize who I truly am. And what's for you, God will make it be for you. And I realized that not too long ago. So with me hurting myself this season, it really opened my eyes, and it really allowed me to create an even bigger faith, or have even more faithfulness in the Lord himself. Because whether or not you know it, but God always has a plan for you, whether it's what you want or not. He always has a plan for you. You just got to stay true to him, stay true to yourself, and honestly just keep going. God always gives his hardest battles to his toughest soldiers. So, if you're going through something, that means he loves you. And not only that, he knows you can overcome it. You just have to put it in your mind and your mindset to really do it. Really overcome what you've gone through. So, like I said before, what's for you will be for you. You just gotta work for it, honestly, and just keep going. What you gonna do? Give up when you right there? Like, one thing I look back at is this little cartoon or little meme. There's this dude digging for the gold. There's two dudes digging for the gold, or diamonds, I say. And there's a dude that's literally right there. All he has to do is hit the little dirt one more time, and he's there. But he doesn't. He gives up because, it's too hard, and he's been doing this for too long, and nothing's come to show, and, he's probably tired and emotionally drained, and even more than physically drained. And all he had to do was hit it one more time, and he would have got everything he needed. And you got the guy on top on the little meme of him. He's reaching his goal. He kept going. He kept moving, no matter how hard it was. And that's one thing I'll ever keep in store into my head, is I'll always keep going. No matter what God or the Lord throws at me, I'll continue to go. I'll continue to go for it. One thing, I was given the decision to not play football at all anymore this season. But I wanted to keep playing, and that's something in me, because I never wanted to give up on anybody, not even myself. And I felt like if I stopped playing, I was going to give up on myself, and that's what the devil wanted me to do. He wanted me to give up. And obviously I have a future. Obviously I have something going for myself. But when you have such a winner's mindset, and you have this thing of wanting to win so bad that you'll do anything to just touch it, be a winner. You'll do anything to win. Like, that's just something in me. I never wanted to give up. And whenever I was given that option, I looked at the doctor. I'm like, in my mind, I'm like, man, hell no, I'm not finna do that. Like, no, I'm not about to do that. Excuse my language, but it's just like something in me. Like, I can't give up. When I was younger, giving up was all I ever knew. And now that I've grown older, it's just something I never want to do. I never want to give up on anything I do, whether it's good or, no matter what it is, I just don't want to give up. So I stay true to myself, and I found my why, and I'll forever be golden for that woman up above. So that's just something that keeps me going.
Something that keeps me going is, like, the way I look at it, everything happens for a reason. Literally, everything happens for a reason. Like
Real
you
talk.
said,
What's for you gonna be for you.
Yeah, like you said, God gives his hardest battles to his toughest soldiers. And at the end of the day, whatever you're going through, it might be hard. This workout might be the most painful thing you ever went through. These people talking about you might really just get to you, but at the end of the day, it's going to be a light at the end of the tunnel. And you're going to get what you've been working for your whole life. And honestly, you don't know what's going to happen in the future. So there's no reason for you to stop. You could feel tired today, and little do you know, whatever you've been working for coming tomorrow, but you decide to stop, so you're not going to get to it. Like, you don't know what's about to happen, so you can't stop. That's not an option in my book. In either three of our books, giving up is not an option.
Exactly. I feel like, honestly, our family won't even allow us to give up, no matter what it is. So it's just really bred into us. And as a person, anybody on the street, for any of y'all that's listening, honestly, it's just whatever you're going for, always go for it, no matter what it is. if it's your dream, you gotta definitely reach for it. Because what are you giving up on your dream for? Something you've lived for knowing or wanting since you were, in the womb. You gonna give up on that? That just shows me or shows who you are as a person that doesn't have any desire to get better or any desire to get what they want. To get what you want, you have to give something up. And like Dylan said, you have to sacrifice many of things. And I was willing to sacrifice my future to go and get a state championship, something that ultimately didn't matter in anybody else's eyes but me. And that goes to show the type of person I am. I ain't never gonna give up, no matter who it is. And it also goes to show I'll do anything for my brothers, no matter if it's university lab or the 3 men in this room. I'll do anything for them, whether it's sacrificing myself or not. That just goes to show who I am as a person. I'm always gonna give up myself before anything. Like, I will literally lend you my hand and go get a prosthetic or something. As long as you good and got my hand, I'm gonna be straight. That's just what it is.
One thing I'm gonna say, like, I understand where you're coming from, but that's not necessarily the best mindset.
Oh, it ain't. Oh, trust me. I know that's something that's really bad too. Like,
you can't do that.
That's just me though. I'm not saying go ahead and do that. Like, that's just me.
I'm just saying in general.
Yeah.
Like, wanting to be such this giving person. Like, obviously, like, listening to you, man, I could tell that you have a big heart, and I have a big heart too. But one thing, just a big brother to both of his younger brothers, like, you want to be disciplined. You want to discipline yourself with how much you are willing to give to someone, and
yeah, that makes sense.
Also be take into account, like, if they'll do the exact same thing for you. Like, you don't want to be one of those type of people that just give, and then you get to a point where you need to take care of yourself, or I don't know, when you look up and you don't have anything, you be like, dang, like, I gave all to somebody else and then I was left with nothing.
Yeah.
Like, you don't want to be like that. And it's been times in my life where I've had your mindset. I stayed on the team when I really, could have went and chased my dreams or did such and such. And it's just like, you have to be selfish in this life that we live in. You don't have to be selfish all the time. Just like sometimes where you're trying to set yourself up to be successful. And I understand, like, having a team mindset, and I'm not against having a team mindset, but when it's time for you to take care of yourself or to take care of, like, I don't know, yourself and your future family, whenever you decide to have one, which it will be later on down the road, like, that's something to keep in your mind as far as, like, building your own foundation and getting to where you're supposed to be. And you can't do that if you're constantly taking out of your pockets or constantly using your own body, sacrificing yourself to make sure someone else can win, because at the end of the day, like, it's more, at the end of the day, I'm not trying to sound harsh or tragic, but you're gonna die alone. Like, when you're going through something, 9 times out of 10, you're going through it by yourself. Like, you the only one that can pull yourself out of those holes, aside from, like, God having helping you. But that's why I keep saying, like, you got to make sure you putting you first, because at any given time, and I'm being so real, at any given time, even the closest people to you, you would never expect it. They can just change, and it just happens. That's human nature. It's human nature. And my thing is for you, like, I don't want you ever having to you're going to experience it, but I just want you to be prepared for it when it happens, because
for sure,
when that happens, bro, like, it hits you out of nowhere, and you're going to think, man, I did all this for such and such, or I did this for my team, or I did this for this person and that person, and they could do this to me, or I did this for my team, and I didn't get nothing in return. Like, no, do for you first, and then worry about everybody else. Like, even with high school, college, whatever, I would always tell you, do for you.
Yeah.
So you can set yourself up, because doing for somebody else, like, you could do for somebody else, and next thing you know, you put them in position to succeed. Next thing you know, they go on about their life, not even worry about you no more, and then you left.
Yeah, that makes sense.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you left with nothing. Like, and that people will do that to you, and I'm not telling you that to scare you, but it's just real life. Even the most down people, the people that you would think to yourself, like, man, that's my dog. Like, they'll never do this. They'll never do, bro. Don't you ever say nobody will never do something.
Yeah, boy. You ain't lying about that. I mean, you really don't know anybody's true intentions for real, no matter who it is. And honestly, you just have to have faith in that they'll always do right by you. But I mean, I definitely get what you're saying about what you were saying, and it's definitely not right to live the way in the mindset I'm living in. But I mean, I'm a young man, and I know I'll grow out of it soon. It's just right now I have a big heart, and like I said, you got to go through it to feel it. So, I mean, I'll be prepared for it though, for sure. But wrapping up the show, our last question, well, my last question for the guys is that honestly, it's a chance to talk to anybody listening, or anybody listening. Like, what would you give them, or what advice would you give to others struggling to maintain their consistency and faith in their dream? And honestly, what did you do to help you maintain and do what you needed to do, and what has helped you so far? This is for both of y'all too. Well, all three of us, really.
Well, what I would tell like an audience, or just someone that's chasing their dreams, even trying to accomplish goals, I was very goal oriented, and I would always put things in front of me to go and chase. And then once I marked it off my list, I would chase something else and chase something else. So I was always pursuing something. But one thing I would say is, if you're trying to create that mindset or like develop that mindset, I would say take it one day at a time and understand your common goal with yourself, like one day at a time. And what I used to always hear is like, it takes 2 weeks to build a habit. You know, if you're doing something every single day and you're doing it consistently, you're telling yourself you're going to do it, then that's how you build consistency. Like, it's going to just become like a natural thing that your body gets used to. It's going to be hard at first, but then once you stick to it, that's how you overcome that fatigue burden at first. And then you're going to always be tired, but at the same time, it's not going to be like you trying to force yourself to do it. You going to be more willing to because you're used to it.
Yeah. So, Emmanuel, your turn.
Honestly, what I would say is, like, I mean, if you got a dream, just chase it and don't let anyone take it away from you. And also, what Dylan said, be consistent with yourself. Like, make plans for yourself. Like, make goals for yourself, and then work to achieve them. And like I said, like, don't get caught up in the critics, or don't get caught up in people that's already have what you want or trying to get to. You know, like, just be patient and stay down until you got to come up.
All right. So, this is what I'm going to say.
He took the glasses off.
This is what I'm going to say. Honestly, there's going to be days where you don't feel like doing things. It's going to be days where you feel like your days are just repetitive, and it's just a repeating cycle. But honestly, one thing I live by is that you have to become comfortable with being uncomfortable. You got to put yourself in certain situations to allow yourself to really truly know who you are. So, I mean, I know I'm a 17-year-old boy, and I haven't really experienced life outside of what is given to me. But from what I've learned so far is that if you don't do anything to stay consistent, your days will be repetitive, and it will be a continuing cycle, and your days will be boring, and you won't have anything to look forward to, and your life will just become boring. And one thing I know for a fact is that a human can't be in a box or four walls for too long. Like, you can't live in such repetitiveness for too long, because then honestly, it changes you. It hurts you more than it helps you. I mean, there's going to be times where you want to be alone and just don't feel like doing anything, but you have to set yourself up to be different. One thing I live by, you can see it on my phone. I mean, I don't know if you'll be able to see it, but it says, be the difference. And I live by that every day. Be the difference in your life. Be the difference in anything. Be the difference in somebody else's life. Just be different than anybody else. Don't keep going in the same direction everybody else is going in, because everybody else thinks it's so cool to be going and following somebody else. Nah, man. I mean, be yourself. Go after what you truly know and love. Like, there's nothing wrong with being different and being unique at all. Like, one thing about me is that I know I attract anything or anybody no matter where I go. So, like, being the difference is something I live by. No matter if it's in somebody's life or in my life in general, I want to be different. I want to go the other route. I want to take the harder way. I want to go up the steps instead of taking the elevator. I want to do it the hardest way possible so I can go to show that it's possible. It's possible to be or maintain consistency. It's possible to keep going no matter what's thrown at you. Life is hard in general. You don't think everybody else's life is hard? You think you just so special that God just like it was just given to you, or it was just, let me just make this person's life hard. Like, no, everybody goes through something in life. So how about you get up and make a change? Be different. So, I mean, not to sound harsh or anything, but that's just the emotions coming out of me. That's just truly how I feel about that certain topic. Genuinely, you gotta, like I said, be comfortable with being uncomfortable. Put yourself in situations you've never seen yourself being in, and ultimately you'll get what you deserve, no matter if it's good or bad. But let's hope it's good. But honestly, yeah, I hope you take, whoever's listening, I hope y'all take whatever we have into account into your life and apply it to your everyday life. Because I mean, you got Keylan Moses here, you got Emmanuel Moses here, and you got me. 3 up and coming stars and 1 star that's already bright as a mug. So, take what you can get from us and honestly apply it to your life. And I hope, honestly, you learn something from this going through, whether or not it's football or not. But, this is a show where you can speak freely and, ain't no nothing. It's just really just athletes speaking on, the inside scoop of things and how hard or how good it can be being a top and rising athlete. So, guys, that concludes our show, our first episode of The Key to It All. And next episode, there will be a couple more special guests, and I hope you guys tune in. And I really hope you guys enjoyed the conversation between me and my brothers. And I hope you learned a lot and truly apply it to your life. So you guys have a good night.
They don't really know you in my city. I'ma have to silence all the critics. Been doing it since a young and I'm committed. Running up the numbers, check the analytics. Hey, but just don't catch me in the red zone. Hey, cause I'ma put it in the end zone. Hey, put me in, I'm the cheat code. Hey, coach, put me in, I'm on beast mode.